Have you ever wondered how much your thoughts and expectations affect your body? I'm not talking about vague ideas. I'm talking about real physical changes. Because what you believe doesn't just shape your mind, it can literally shape your health. Let me take you back for a moment. In the 19th century, trains started racing down the tracks at speeds of 30, even 50 kilometers per hour. Sounds funny now, right? But back then, this was mind-blowing. Distances that used to take days suddenly took just hours. And as you can imagine, it wasn't just exciting. It also triggered pure panic. Doctors genuinely believed these high speeds were dangerous. They warned people their organs might detach inside their bodies, that the air would rush past too quickly to breathe, and that the brain would get overloaded by scenery flashing by. Ridiculous today. But back then, people actually got sick. Passengers experienced dizziness, nausea, panic attacks, and even fainted. Now today we know exactly what happened. We call it the nocebo effect. You probably know the placebo effect, right? That's when people feel better after taking a sugar pill they think is medicine. Their mind heals their body simply through belief. Well, the nocebo effect is its dark cousin. It's when your mind literally makes your body sick or increases pain because you expect it to. In one experiment, people were told they'd be touched by a hot matchstick. Instead, the researchers pressed a cold piece of metal against their skin. And guess what happened? People who were convinced it was hot actually developed a real burn. That's how powerful your brain and your beliefs can be. But think for a second about your own mind. All the negative thoughts, stories, predictions, meanings you've been holding on to. What do you think those are doing to your body? Some people are so skilled at creating negative scenarios and meanings, they develop physical symptoms doctors can't even explain. And what do most of us do when that happens? We reach for sleeping pills, tranquilizers, medication to numb it all, without ever addressing the real issue. Because the real issue isn't always in your body. It's often in your mind, your beliefs, your stories. But look, it's not just about thoughts. It's also about the words we use. And yeah, sure, those words usually start with our thoughts. But think about it. Your everyday language matters more than you realize. Your go-to phrases, your throwaway comments, your automatic responses, they all shape how your body feels. Here's something fascinating. Back in the 1940s, researcher Wendell Johnson studied stuttering in Native American tribes because he noticed something incredible. Stuttering simply didn't exist there. Sure, some kids had symptoms that looked like stuttering, but since these tribes didn't have a word for it, they didn't acknowledge it. And guess what happened? The kids just grew out of it naturally. How crazy is that? Your words matter. Your stories matter. Your labels matter. So if our words, our thoughts, our negative predictions have such a powerful impact, how do we handle them differently? Can you make all your symptoms vanish just by talking differently? Of course not. If you've got a broken leg, no optimistic thinking is going to fix it instantly, though it can certainly speed up the healing. But changing your mindset, changing your words, your stories, that can definitely make a huge difference with things like headaches, migraines, back pain, heart palpitations, hormone imbalances, stuff doctors often can't fully explain or resolve. So the real question isn't if your words and thoughts affect your body. We already know they do. The real question is, how do you stop your mind from working against your body and start getting them to work together again? The simplest solution obviously would be just stop doing it. But come on, we both know it's never that easy, right? Most of our patterns, our habits, have been there for years. We tell ourselves, that's just who I am, as if we're fixed in place. But the truth is, you're not just one way or another way. You became that way, consciously or unconsciously. People who say, "I'm just a pessimist," usually don't realize this. Nobody, I mean nobody, is born a pessimist. But you sure as hell can become one. The key to changing it all starts with one crucial insight. You're not some static robot with fixed settings. Your personality, the way you think, speak, and behave, they're all flexible. I coached someone once who was always super intense. She moved intensely, thought intensely, spoke intensely, especially when she got angry. Sometimes she got so overwhelmed by her own intensity that her mind short-circuited. She'd literally freeze, unable to express herself clearly. From our very first session, her language stood out immediately. Everything was either absolutely amazing or totally terrible. Nothing in between. She wasn't angry, she was furious. She didn't just like something, she adored it. It was head over heels. Every emotion, every situation, every event, amplified tenfold. And of course, you know exactly what she said. "That's just who I am. I've always been this way." So I asked her, "Okay, when exactly did you become this way?" And again she insisted, No, I've always been like this." But I pressed on and asked again, "No, really, when exactly did this start?" Ignoring her earlier statements, she suddenly smiled and said, "Oh, wait, it was actually in high school with my friend Bianca. We started exaggerating everything because we thought it was funny and cool." And just like that, the penny dropped. She realized we're not static beings. She learned these patterns, these exaggerated reactions. She wasn't born with them. And once that awareness clicked in, she started choosing her words more carefully, controlling her runaway thoughts. Within weeks, even the way she walked changed. Instead of bursting into rooms, always rushed, she walked in relaxed, elegant, in control. And whenever she slipped back into old habits, blowing something up into extremes again, she'd stop immediately, smile, and say, "Oops, there I go again, right?" And guess what happened to those frequent headaches she'd been suffering from all those years? They finally retired and never came back. So here's how you take this insight forward. Start noticing your language, your phrases, your default predictions. Literally write them down. Make them visible. When something scary or stressful pops up, watch your reaction carefully. Which words rush to the surface first? How do your predictions shape your body's response? If you're nervous about an important meeting or task, what exactly are you telling yourself will happen? When something bothers you, what phrases do you habitually reach for? Put them on paper. See the patterns clearly. Because once you see those patterns, you can decide to soften them, shift them, or even flip them entirely. And here's why that's so powerful. Every word, every thought, every story is not just shaping your mind, it's shaping your body too. The moment you choose to speak and think differently, your body immediately feels it. And that's the whole point. Your mind and body aren't opponents, they're partners. So if you're ready for your mind and body to finally work together, start choosing your words and stories with care. Because in the end, that's how real healing and true change actually happens.